In today's video, I'm going to give you my honest feedback on these two lasers. So I'm going to be comparing my Boss 1420 with my Thunderbolt. I'm not going to be going into very nitty gritty details. I'm going to give you some broad overviews. I'm going to give you my pros and cons and just give you my general opinion to help you make the best decision for yourself if you're currently comparing both of these brands, trying to decide which one to go for. This is a CO2 laser. It is a 70-watt machine, and this is an RF laser, and it is 30 watts. So in full transparency, I want to let you know that Thunder did give me this laser in exchange for some content, but they are in no way dictating any of my opinions. All of these are just how I feel when I'm using the machine, and I'm just going to be sharing my experience. Believe it or not, these lasers are both really close when it comes to power. The RF laser is a 30-watt laser, but when you're comparing that to a CO2 laser, it actually comes in a lot stronger. It's more like a 60-watt laser. I bought this Thunder laser in 2022, and the whole reason that I got it for was to do some prototyping. Now, I have barely used this laser because it took a while, first of all, to figure out. Once I got it all figured out, it definitely became a lot easier to use, but there was a lot of speed bumps and there was a lot of materials to help me figure everything out. My Boss laser is a CO2 laser, which means that there is a glass tube that is inside of this metal casing here. So when you're dealing with a CO2 laser, you need a water chiller. The water chiller houses a bunch of water which gets pumped through the machine to keep your glass tube nice and cool. You're also going to need an air pump, so make sure you have space for a water chiller and an air pump. This is going to pump air throughout the machine, and you're going to need room for an external air pump. So make sure that if you're going to go for a laser like this, that you have the space. So with all those additional items, there's a lot of cord management that's happening here. I have 4 plugs just to get this Boss laser plugged in, and then 1 more plug that plugs in to the computer to have it connect. The bolt is 37 inches by 20 inches. It does not come with a stand, but you can grab one or build one really quickly, and it is only 170 pounds. That Boss is 450 pounds. She's heavy. I actually had to have 4 to 6 people help me bring that in, whereas this one just took 2 people to carry it down. With the Thunder laser, it's a lot more compact. The only thing that you have that's external is this exhaust hose. Everything else is built right in the machine. When I was buying the Boss laser, there weren't a lot of different brands out on the market. Thunder was not a thing, and the one that had a similar size to this bed was the Glowforge. And if you guys know, with Glowforge, it doesn't run off light burn. So if they ever stopped making their software, they closed out, then you would just have a paperweight. So I wanted to make sure that I had a laser that uses light burn. The Boss laser is 40 inches by 62 inches. It's a fairly large machine. It comes with a stand already built in. Now, the footprint for it diagonally all the way across here, I actually have a nice little visual for myself. Might as well show you all as well. But it's 36.5 inches just from here to here. Then you've got to add on almost 2 feet for the extension on the laser. So in here is the CO2 laser tube, because this one is a CO2 laser. And you can see right there that it has a glass tube that is housed right here. And that's why you need that water chiller that's on the side, so that way it can operate. So this and this go hand in hand. This keeps it cool, so it keeps running efficiently, doesn't overheat, and doesn't break. With the Thunderbolt, this is much more compact. Everything is included. Actually, if we come around the side here and we pull it out, you can see I got the hose right there. The exhaust is right there. The compressor is built right in. So if we pull down this area here, we can see all the internal workings of the RF laser. It's got its fans here, and you can see the lens and mirror right over here in this space here. Everything is super compact. It's all built in the machine, which is huge because if you can see my very small space here, everything is super tight. So I need a small machine. Let's take a peek on the side panel of the bolt, and you can see again, everything is built in there nicely. There's not a lot of extra space. This hose came nicely packaged right there, but now that I've used it, I cannot get it back in. So if I'm not using it, I just kind of tuck it away behind the laser. And for this machine, there's one plug. This goes straight into the outlet. And then here I have my Ethernet cable and my USB cable to connect it to my computer. So a total of 3 cords versus a total of 5 cords. So if we open up this side panel here, you can see there's a motor and some electrical work in here. And then you can kind of take a little peek into seeing how this is all built on to the machine. The Bolt has a working area of 12 by 20, whereas this Boss here has a 14 by 20 workspace. It's got an extra 2 inches there. That's really helpful if you're doing some abnormal items. It really doesn't matter when it comes to most sheet goods. Most sheet goods are the 12 by 20 size. So the Bolt is extremely compact. It does not come with a stand, but I just got a Craig table to put underneath it, which was really easy to assemble. And the nice part about it is it gives me enough space so that way I can store the Rotary right next to it and I can pop that in there whenever I want. On the Bolt, there are no slide throughs, but there is this front door that you can pull down and you can put magnets right here and right here if you want to use the laser with this wide open. Now this is helpful if you have something that's going to extend just a bit farther out. It's not a true slide through, but it'll help you out if you need a couple more inches. And who couldn't use that? Okay, let's go talk about the Boss. The Boss laser has a 4-way slide through. So this panel can come right off. There's another one right underneath there that if you needed to slide something through that's super long, you can go ahead and do that. And there are 2 panels on the sides that come off as well if the item is long and you want to go this way. So they do have that option, and Thunder does have some larger lasers that do the same thing. But we're just comparing these two because they're similar sizes. All right, so let's take a peek here on the Boss laser. So you can see there's a bunch of different side panels here. This one right here is the pass-through. So you can actually take this right off and have a slide through that goes from this side all the way to the other side, which I thought was really cool. Never have used it. This is the part that really scares me on the Boss laser. As you can see inside here, there's a bunch of different pulleys in there, and the motor is all built right there. There is a lot of empty space here, and to adjust the alignment on your bed, you have to tweak these up and down to get that laser leveled. I suck at this kind of stuff, and for me this is very intimidating. There's a sensor here and everything has to be perfect to get that laser bed completely aligned. There's none of that here with the Boss. Everything just comes over in a nice slotted environment. You can see everything's just built right in, and I don't have to worry about making those little adjustments to have a level bed. If we pull down the front panel, we can get another look at all of those pulleys that I was talking about that make this laser level. And then you can see there's a few crumbs that have fallen down there. To clean out your laser bed, you have to take off the honeycomb. All of those metal knives right there. And then you have to scoop it or vacuum it all out. There's not an easy way to pull out your crumb tray. With the Thunder Bolt, all you do is pull this out. There's a tray that comes right out, and you can just dump that right into your trash barrel. There's also a ruler that is drilled in around the side of the bed, which I'm unsure why they did that because it makes it not even around the rest of it. So if you put the honeycomb on the bed and you don't have it locked in between those guides like that, which actually keeps it off the bed all the way and reduces your working area, it's not level. So I'd have to remove these guides here to make this fully level. If having a 4-way pass-through is very important to your business and you need that capability, I highly recommend checking out the Nova machines from Thunder. I have only heard amazing things from them, and they're a much larger machine, so they'll be able to help accommodate your needs. So you can see there's around 7 inches of working space with the honeycomb bed on. If you take off the honeycomb bed, then you're going to gain another 1/2 inch. And then if you need more space, you can always take off these combs and get a little bit more working space. You can get almost 12 inches if you go all the way to the bottom. With the bolt at its max depth, you're getting 4.5 inches of workable space there. And then if you go in and you pull out the actual honeycomb, whoop, you're gonna gain a lot more space there. Let's see what we got here. You're gonna get almost 8 inches on there. So a really good amount of depth. And I actually wish I did that for a recent project because I totally didn't think about that. So thank you to Thunder for pointing that out to me. So the Thunder is an RF laser, and that uses radio frequency to power the laser beam. You can learn more about RF lasers on Matt Voltner's channel. I'm gonna go ahead and link that in the show notes below, but he goes into great detail on how these machines work. I am not going to go into that area. I don't feel like I have the expertise, so let somebody else help you fill in those gaps. So Thunder sends you a QR code that you're able to just scan and get your laser set up. It walks you through the entire process. It walks you through how to set up your rotary, troubleshooting. There's a whole academy that's on their website. When it comes to Boss, there's like zero information on how to utilize their lasers, how to set them up. The visuals for their maintenance is very old. It's just digital drawings. There's not anybody walking you through this exact laser. It's lacking. It's lacking. And I actually tried to reach out to them to make materials, and they are just not good about that. So the customer service and the training is just not there for the Boss laser. I don't recommend it for anybody who is not already well-versed in how to use lasers. So the really cool thing about RF lasers is they last a lot longer than the glass tubes. That'll last for about 10 years, and then you can replace that unit. The CO2 laser tube needs to get replaced about every 2 years. So make sure that you're thinking about that as an additional cost for your shop if you're considering getting a CO2 laser. There is maintenance on both of these machines. Just a little easier on this one. When it comes to engraving, the bolt is going to give you a finer line detail engraving, and that's because RF lasers are able to create a much thinner beam, and that's going to create a ton more detail when it comes to your engravings. So let's do a quick comparison on how an engraving on similar settings works on a Boss laser compared to the Thunder laser. All right, so I have this going at 350 for the speed and 20% for the power. You can see it came out really clean, and it was just a really smooth operation. It came out so crispy and clean. I just absolutely love it. So now let's go ahead and try that same thing on the Boss. It came out all right, not nearly as nice as I would like it to come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it one more time with a few different settings and see if I can get it to be semi-comparable. So I don't know if you noticed while I was talking, but it completely went off track when it came to the cut file. I didn't change the origin or anything, just misfired, and this is not new. Let's try it again, and hopefully I can get some results that we're gonna like. This one was looking really promising, but then it started jumping around. Okay, so first of all, I know I'm not wearing the same outfit right now, but that's because I'm out here in the morning and I'm trying to get some samples for us to compare the Boss laser versus Thunder laser. Now, Thunder did this beautiful, clean, crisp carving, and I'm trying to give the Boss a fighting chance. This was the first try. Not terrible, needs some sanding. Second attempt. Yeah. Third attempt, it completely destroyed this logo. And I'm afraid to show you the fourth attempt, but let's be honest, let's show some clear results. you can see why I don't like this laser. I was trying to be non-biased, but the results. All right. So somehow through the lasering process, it decided to skip a beat and do that. So I think I'm gonna give up on getting you a nice clean example. I didn't even cut all the way through. Okay. Okay, so this is the fourth attempt. I think I have your answer on what makes a nice, clean, consistent product. It's pretty clear. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna continue on with what I had planned for the video. But honestly, I don't wanna waste my morning and a ton of sheets. You know what, let's give it one more. We're gonna give it one more. We're gonna shut it off. We're gonna turn her back on and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot through the file again and see what happens. In case you're telling me that like maybe there's too much stuff that's in the memory, there's a whole 8 files in here. There's barely anything here, and I can just delete these and clear it all out. So I'll go ahead and do that slowly as I go through and hit delete on everything, and we'll come back and we're gonna try again. Give this machine a fighting chance. I'm gonna go ahead and do a test file on it to see what speed is best and what percentage is best. And we're gonna try this again. All right, so that didn't work so great. So I'm just gonna show you some examples of how it's worked in the past. It comes out pretty clean, just not as crisp as that Thunder. I was not planning on showing you how to take the lenses off of this laser, but to do so, you've got to twist off that whole bottom mechanism. Then you've got to use this little metal thing to remove the cap, and eventually you'll get to the actual lens. Now, somehow through this process of testing this out, the lens has gotten ruined. It was completely fine. I actually just cleaned everything out before I started doing these tests. So I'm pretty sad, but we're gonna have to end here when it's going to comparisons with the actual laser working. And I'm just gonna show you what I can without actually running the Boss. So to be able to move this up and down and do the autofocus, you have to get into this main Z, I guess, panel, and then access the autofocus. Click that and it'll go down. It'll register where your material is, and then it'll pop up to what it should essentially be the best distance for that laser to perform. Then if I want to go and adjust this laser bed to go up or down, again, I have to hit that Z panel and then click it to make it move. To access the autofocus on the bolt, it's really easy. There's a button right here. You press it, and then you go ahead and it'll make sure that you have nothing on your platform, and you just hit OK. It's going to go ahead and it's going to bring that material right up to the laser. It's going to measure that perfect distance, and it's going to be all set for you. If you want to go ahead and lower or raise your bed on this Z axis here, all you gotta do is just press a button. There's no toggling through a whole menu just to move that bed up and down. To remove the lens, all I have to do is take these 2 toggles here off of the front of the laser head, and then I can go ahead and pull out the lens. I can then clean it, then I can go ahead and slide it back in or exchange it for a new lens. Then just slide it back through and add your toggles back on in. The bolt can go up to 1000 ms, and it's really, really quick. It gives you clean, detailed engravings. When it comes to the Boss laser, it can go up to 1200 ms. Now, when it comes to speed, you're not usually going to use that max speed. You're going to use the speed and the power that's going to give you the best image and the best quality looking item. So that's really important to know. And the faster that you use your laser, the less working area you're going to have, because a laser needs to slow down before it pivots and comes back. So there has to be some space for it to do that. It's important to note that though the Boss laser is slightly more aggressive with its wattage, it is going to have a better engraving on the bolt due to that finer laser. So let's talk rotaries. You get a tiny little book here about how to use your rotary for the Boss laser. You have to follow these instructions or your Y axis will no longer work. And if that happens, guess what? There is no video that makes it easy to figure out how to fix that. They send you another little thing in your email about how to get that working. And it took me several tries. You have an easy connect right here. There's an on and off button here. So you got to put this on when you're using it and then shut it off when you're done. And then you got to follow their instructions on how to get your machine working again once you finish using the Rotary. This is the Rotary that I paid for on this machine. Super basic, super outdated unit. And I've used it like 3 times with not a lot of success. So that is the Rotary when it comes to the Boss Laser. Loading the Rotary onto the Thunder Laser takes a few more steps. You have to lower your bed down. You then go ahead and pop out your honeycomb, which when we talk about how awesome it is that they have these 2 little feet here that line up directly with the beam here, so that way you know that you always have this in the correct space. Once you have that down, then you can go ahead and drop your Rotary in. So we're gonna go ahead, move the laser head back, and drop it in. There are 4 metal brackets that you attach to your Rotary, and that allows you to add it to the bottom panel where the honeycomb usually sits. You would just plug it in, and then to unplug it, you gotta press that button and unplug. It's as easy as that, and now you're ready to use it. Not too bad. So once you get that all installed in there, you're able to go ahead and start lasering your cups. Now, one thing that's really cool, a much faster and seamless way to get that installed, because there are some finaglings that you might have to do to just make sure that everything is properly in there. There's this thing called a Roco twist tray. I'm gonna go ahead and link that below. That is a little metal tray that you attach the Rotary to, and then you just slide it in, slide it out, slide it in, slide it out, and it should be perfect for you every time. When it comes down to costs, I'm gonna break that all down in the notes below. These are relatively the same price. This Boss Laser now is available for so much cheaper than when I first got it. But don't forget, you have to add the water chiller, the exhaust, and the air pump to your laser before you check out. Plus there's gonna be the big fee of delivery and all of that. So just things to be aware of. So the last thing that I want to point out to you on this Thunder Laser is that there's a camera already installed on it for you. All you have to do is connect it to your computer and then you're good. With the Boss Laser, you would have to install a camera on there yourself. So there's going to be an additional expense. You're going to have to do the installation, and then you can go ahead and connect it to Lightburn. But it is still possible to go ahead and add a camera. It's just really nice having it built in already. When you buy your Thunder Laser, you get a 1-hour session for free that's included with your price that is going to go through, and they're going to help you figure out all the little things that maybe you miss while you're setting up. They're going to give you a whole set of settings that are already built in for different materials that you're able to just go ahead and upload into your computer and get that all set for Lightburn. You don't get any of that stuff with Boss. If you want an extra training session, you can do that. It's going to be an additional cost, but it is available. The last thing that I want to talk about is community. Thunder Laser has a whole community of makers out there who are using their machines. They're constantly sharing different things that they're learning. So many people have made videos, and Thunder themselves is constantly updating their website with different training materials to help you learn how to use your machine and show you all the new innovations that they're coming up with. Boss's materials are extremely outdated. They're all just PDFs. The videos that they have are animations with very minimal human interaction. And if you call their help desk, it's gonna be a long wait, and you're most likely gonna get a PDF and a phone call. Now, the people there are super nice. I have had some really kind people help me, but it's not something that I want to be dealing with all day when I'm having issues with their machine. With Thunder, everything is super fast. Whenever I've reached out on the help desk for my user errors, they're really fast with responding, and I've had a pleasure working with them. So I hope this video has helped you out, and I hope it helped you make your decision if you've been torn between both of these. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. I have one more laser video coming out, and it's just going to be a year in review, just kind of talking about the different things that I've learned with this laser and showing off its capabilities. I just wanted to pop on before this video officially ends and give you a quick follow-up on what's going on with my Boss Laser. So after I created this video, I did send it on over to them so that they can see that I'm still having the same issue after 2+ years. Clearly there's something wrong with this machine, so they're gonna take it back. They're going to try to refurbish it. If they can't fix it, they're gonna send me a brand new one. But in the end, I should finally have a working laser. We'll find out. So don't forget to stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. Talk to you later.